Hi, I'm Gary from the New Again team. We're the UK's leading water leak finding specialists. We also dry and decontaminate them. Okay, so you've found some mould in your car and you're not sure why. My experience is that we find water leaks in cars and we do decontamination. So we've seen a lot of cars with mould in. First off, you need to take the mould part of it serious. Most people don't. They think, oh, it's just a bit of mould, I'll give it a wipe or it'll sort itself out or whatever. And I can tell you that I have met and seen and dealt with a lot of people that have been ill. We don't deal with the ill bit, we just deal with the people call us from time to time and say, hi, I'm ill and I can't, and they've been driving a car with mould in. So I suppose how I'd put it is if you had lots and lots of broken glass on the back seat, around the seat belts, wherever this mould has appeared, you'd be a lot more concerned about it. But I can tell you that the mould can make you ill. So you breathe it in, that's how it gets into your system. If you were to have a room like your lounge where you grab the cushion and bash it against bash the cushion, and then you've got the light beaming through, you see all that stuff floating around, you think, you can see it because the sun's coming through. Well, that's how mould gets to other things. So if you put an apple in the car, it gets mould on it. It doesn't just appear from nowhere. It comes from, the air, and it comes and lands on it and grows. And of course, it finds its way into you and your lungs and your breathing system the same way. So, so how do we deal with that? First off, you need some gloves and a mask, and you need to buy the right product to clean the mould. Lots of different companies, you can buy it in your supermarket. You need to buy the one that's it's not for the building works, it's not a painting one, it's one for cleaning mould that they might sell you for otherwise cleaning the bedroom where the windows are and that kind of thing. So you need to buy the right one. You need to read the labelling and make sure it doesn't have bleach in it, because obviously the bleach ones, for obvious reasons, will work okay on your wall outside, but you don't want to be spraying it in your car on the seat belts or on your child's seat. So that's the bit you've got to do. You've got to learn how to clean it. You've got to get the sprayer and you've got to get your gloves on. And I'd suggest get a mask. You can check mould masks. You can buy them on the internet, or you can buy them from your DIY shops. So you've got to give it a proper clean. Pull the seatbelts out. If you found it on the seatbelts, you need to clean it properly. Get a pair of gloves, get a bucket of water, hot bucket of water, and a nice microfiber cloth always works well. So you can wring the cloth out of the bucket, stick it in the clean bucket, wring it out, and then get your sprayer and clean all these areas where the mould is with your goggles on, with your glasses on, and with your mask on, and make sure that you've cleaned it properly. And you need to dry it as well. So if it's on your boot carpet, you might want to do that and leave the boot carpet in the garage, and then you can be sure that it's drying. Right, okay, so you might be wondering why you've got mould. It could just be that there's been a bit of dampness in the car. It could be that, you've all got in the car with all the family, you haven't got your vent switched on. We'll come to that in a minute. But and then you're all soaking wet. It was pouring down with rain. Then you've shut the doors and left the car with all that dampness in it. So you didn't use it for a week or two, and then sometimes you can find that the mould will grow because it's given it that environment. So that's one reason why you might have got mould, but it's very, very unusual. I've got to say, from my experience, it's usually because there's water in your car somewhere. So if you're getting the water running down the windows and you're getting an unusual amount of dampness in the car, it could be there is water getting into the car that you don't know about. So here's a couple of tips on how to find whether your car's getting water. The main places water collects are under the footwells, all four, front and back, or in the boot. They're mostly the places you'll find the water. But of course, if you squash the carpet, you might think it's damp. You don't really know whether it's wet under there, because most people don't know this, but the carpet could be 3 or 4 inches thick. You've got the carpet on the surface, and the shape of the bottom of the car isn't smooth like your house, where your household carpet is flat. The bottom of the car's got trunking and can have wires, and it can have all sorts. So you might not realise that there's actually water in the car and it's slowly finding its way upwards to the surface. So a couple of tips on finding that water. One, you could park the car on a very steep slope. If you know there's one near you, you might be able to just park it there for an hour and then come back to the car and see if you can find water on the back footwells. If you squash your hand there under the carpet and give it a squash, some cars have even got a little hatch there and you can see if there's water there. The other way is to check in your boot and have the spare wheel up and have the carpet up and have a check in there. You can also get it in the little compartments in the sides in the boot. So have a look in there with a torch and see whether there's any water getting in there. Now, we've got other videos on how to find the water leaks and solving the problems and also dealing with mould and how to dry the car. However, if you can't find any water in there and there is nothing on the carpets, there's a good chance that your car's just got water in it because of what I said earlier. So maybe you need to have your fan on number 1, number 2. If you're going on short journeys, there's not been a lot of air gone through that car to dry out the dampness. So I would suggest put your air conditioning on. You don't have to freeze to death in the middle of winter. You can put the heat on. So you can have the air conditioning running, which dries the air quicker. It actually does your air conditioning a little bit of good as well, using it in the winter. I know you guys are looking, thinking, it uses a bit more fuel. Well, actually, using the air conditioning during the winter months is actually a good thing for the car and the air conditioning units. It needs a little bit of using. But that aside, you want to dry the air in the car and push it through the car. Now, your vents are sitting in front of you. What most people don't know is there are vents at the back of the car. Sometimes they can be blocked by sports bags and all sorts of things. So you need to be aware that your car is breathing all the way through. So don't worry about the tipping the seats forward, but you just need to put plenty of air going through those vents. And you need to know that if your pollen filter is filthy dirty, that might not be pushing the air through that you need. So a new pollen filter, they're not expensive. You can order them from the parts company. You can go and get them from your car parts company and put a new one of them. There'll be something on YouTube how to put them in, or if not at the next service, get a new pollen filter put in so that the ventilation sucking the air through can suck it through there and help dry and demist your windows, get the heat through to you, as well as move the air through the car. The important reason for the air moving through the car is that mould likes still air. So those of you who are thinking, I'll deal with that in the summer, I'll just park the car, I can use another car, got a bit of mould in it, don't really want to use it, I'll get round to it later, I'll use the other car. I can tell you from experience, if there's water in the car and you just park it and leave it, you'll create yourself a bigger problem because the mould will multiply when it's got the right environment. So I'm not telling you to get in the car and start driving it if you've got other issues. If you've got the mould in you need to clean it. And also you need to be aware that sometimes water can cause electronic problems. So you need to be aware that if a warning light's come up or your central locking's not working or your lights aren't been working properly, it could be a result of the water in the car. Right, so you've found water in the car now, you've realised, you've checked it, you've realised, oh God, that's why I've got the mould, now I've got the water in the car and I don't know what to do. Well, we're based in the southeast, so if you are in our area and you want the car dried or we want us to find where the water's getting in, there's other videos and you can look on our website. But if you're not and you're from quite a long way away, some people are in London and places that they might want to go to their own local garage or they might want to deal with it themselves. We've got another video, 1 or 2 other videos on how to deal with mould and videos on also how to find your water leak, also videos on how to deal with the mould and fix the problem as well. I hope this was of use to you, and if it was, if you could just press the like button and that may help somebody else find it. Also, there's links to our website on the description below.